Welcome back to Daily Discussion. All right, so I heard a story about the Buddha recently, and what happened was he was giving a speech in this town, and this guy was in the back, and he was just shouting and yelling at the Buddha. It was just kind of insulting him, just kind of going on and on and on. And the Buddha just kind of ignored him, just kept going, and kept giving his speech, never really paid attention to the guy. He just kept steady and did what he was there to do. Now, this angered the guy even further, and the guy just kept getting louder and louder. And eventually, after the Buddha finished, the guy came up to the Buddha and asked him, I've been yelling at you and insulting you this entire time, and you haven't reacted. Why haven't you reacted? And the Buddha asked him the question and said, well, if somebody were to give you a gift, but you didn't want to accept it, who owns that gift then? And the guy said, well, if I'm the giver, then it would be me. I own the gift because you didn't accept it. And he said, well, exactly. And the moral was there that if somebody is trying to give you the quote unquote gift of anger, you don't have to accept that. You can stay steady and stay with your resolve and not react to that situation and not accept their emotion and bring that into you. And this came up for me again today because I kind of had this going on with a discussion that I had to have with me and another guy. Were kind of on a team together with this and discussing it, and we had to ask a lot of tough questions and go at something that other people didn't want to answer. And as we asked the questions, they kept trying to, the people we were dealing with were getting very frustrated and trying to push that off on us. And almost, they were really kind of deflecting the questions and not really answering them and trying to roundabout, do some circular reasoning to get out of really answering the question. And him and I, this other guy, just kind of stayed steady, and we just said, look, you can have that reaction if you want, but the question is still valid and it still needs to be answered. So together and collectively, we stayed very calm and just kept saying, well, these are the questions we have, and you can continue this path, but at the end of the day, we still have these questions and they're valid questions. So they need to go forward. And if you can't answer them, then we need to talk to who can. So that's ended up what needed to happen. And we kind of resolved it at that and said, well, we need to talk to the people who can answer this question, because we didn't accept their gift of anger and frustration. We just kept pressing on and said, well, we're going to keep our resolve the way we want to, because we still have these concerns that need to be answered. So being upset and yelling is not going to solve this problem, because we still want the answer. So anyway, hopefully that helps somebody else. And just remember, you don't have to accept other people's emotions. Even if you're dealing with that problem, doesn't mean you have to accept their emotions to get to the bottom of what's going on.